Hey, what's going on, everybody? Huuvi 186 back again with another video. Before I start off with the video, I do want to say I do want to give a bit of a shout out to Dave Had Enough, Old Dirty. I'm sorry I haven't been able to join you guys on the podcast lately. Just been dealing with some stuff with my phone. That's basically the only way I can really connect to Google Hangouts, and I really haven't had much. Really haven't had much to talk about overall as far as like videos go. So I do apologize for that. I'll try it out whenever time, wherever you know, any way I can provide a video if I have the time. I'll try to do one, and I'll see if I can try to join you guys on a podcast next week. Just been dealing with a lot of stuff at work, plus the problems I've been having with my phone. But a big shout out to you guys. Big shout out to Dave. Big shout out to Old Dirty. Big shout out to all the guys who've done the podcast, and in the past and in the future. But anyways, on to the video. E3 was last week. It came and gone. I'm gonna do my impressions on all three. I'll just try to knock them out as quickly as I possibly can, because for one, I have to go to work soon, and two, Portugal and Germany is on TV. It's on starting right now, and I kind of want to watch that match. But anyways, here it goes. I'll start off with Microsoft. I thought of the three, I thought it was the easiest one to watch. It was basically just an hour or so of just games, games, games. It was I thought overall I thought it was a good conference. I didn't think it was nothing mind blowing, which I think is something that they probably should have something that I think they should have aimed for. But I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was anything. It definitely was the best one that they've done in a long time. Um, the thing is that one of the things was that they did show a lot of multiplats. They show some exclusives, but overall, my overall, the only thing that I would probably say that was a negative about the conference was that it didn't convince me to buy an Xbox One. And even with the price cut, and even with some of the exclusive stuff that they showed from Platinum Games, and and the new Crackdown that they showed, Sunset Overdrive and all that other stuff, it wasn't enough for me to buy an Xbox One. But I thought it was a good show overall. Um, the one thing also have to say is that they showed a lot of gameplay trailers, not gameplay, but trailers in for the at least for their exclusives. So that was disappointing. Really didn't see a lot of you really didn't see a lot of gameplay, at least exclusively. Um, really I think the best part about the show to me was um the Halo collection. Even though I'm not a Halo fan at all, but it definitely is a great value for for Halo fans. It definitely is, and I think it is a definite system seller for that console. Um, so overall, I thought it was a good conference. It was definitely the easiest one to watch of the three. I really was never really bored at any time. Um, I will say Call of Duty just I think has jumped the shark. The less I talk about that, the better. Um, on to Sony. I was planning on watching it. I wasn't able to watch it live because I had to go to work, and I had the intention of when I came home I had the intention of watching it the next day. But I got home, I really couldn't sleep. I was just so tired, so I decided to just watch the whole show. And like again, like same thing with the Microsoft one. They showed a lot of multiplats. They did show more exclusives, but they showed a lot of multiplats. But the stuff that they showed, some of the stuff that they showed was I thought was the most impressive stuff that I've seen from the entire E3 conference. They showed they showed what did they show? Little Big Planet 3, which is I'm not really big into Little Big Planet, but I thought the gameplay demo that they had out was very very cool. And seeing the lady kind of mess up, even though it wasn't technically her fault. I think the controller, the Bluetooth and the DualShock 4 was kind of flimsy. Um, so she couldn't, really do what she had to do. But I thought it added something. I thought it added something really cool to the experience, the gameplay demo. And then the trailer came out, and they showed the game trailer at the end, and I thought that was really cool. And overall, it was cool. Like, I definitely, my nieces are big fans of Little Big Planet, so I'll probably get that for them. And I thought it looked cool myself, so I was impressed with that. They showed more gameplay footage of The Order 1886. That game looks absolutely beautiful. Like, that was I probably say of all that was the best looking exclusive I saw, at least gameplay wise, on the show. Then, man, that game just looks absolutely stunning. The one worry I have with The Order is that it's going to be too storyline driven, and not gameplay like, like, I don't mind a game that has a great story. Like, I actually do prefer it. But I don't want the game to be just concentrating on just storytelling and graphics and all that stuff. I do want the game to be fun. I definitely want the game to be fun. And but hopefully it's good. Hopefully the game is good. So you have that. They showed the Batman trailer, which you guys just saw. That looked awesome. Seeing the Batmobile in action was pretty awesome. But the game that impressed me the most, and the game that I thought was the game that the game of the show, outside of this, like, this is Rainbow Six. I'm happy about Rainbow Six. Like, that's the shit right there. That's what I'm good. That's what I'm happy about. But the game that impressed me the most overall was No Man's Sky. That game looks absolutely amazing. I love the visual style of the game. I love seeing the developer on there, and you could tell that he was genuinely just happy to be up there and happy to show off the game. And that's the indie game, man. Like, that, that without the indies, games like that don't happen. Without that indie support, games like that don't happen, and I'm happy about that. So I'll talk more about that in the near future. But that was the most impressive game that they showed. Like, that was the most impressive game that they showed, at least in my opinion. I thought the conference was going very well up until they started talking about powers and the Ratchet and Clank movie and stuff like that. I just skipped through it. But that's something, like, to be honest, that's an announcement that you say for Comic-Con. Like, that's something that you don't do at E3. It's not right that Microsoft did it, and it's not right that Sony did it also. And I get their reasoning. I heard Shuhei on the IGN podcast talk about it. I understand his reasoning for it, and I understand why Microsoft does it too. But nobody wants to see that at E3, man. Like, no one wants to see that. But overall, I thought the conference was fine. Like, it wasn't groundbreaking, but like, it was a good conference. I thought it was a good conference. So I didn't think it was horrible or nothing like that. I thought it was fine. Now on to Nintendo. I missed, I think, 15 minutes of it, but I knew what was announced, so I didn't feel like I missed much. They showed off the at least concept of Zelda Wii U, and like, I don't think it was gameplay, but I don't believe that the game would be far off from that. They showed Hyrule Warriors, which looks awful. It looks like it's just Dynasty Warriors with Zelda skin on it. So I wasn't impressed with that. They talked about the amiibos, which which is basically the Skylanders and Disney Infinity. I'll talk about that later. And what else did they show? They had this new, somewhat first-person shooter called Splatoon, which looks interesting, but I'll talk about that also. We look very interesting. Like, it definitely is a very it's a great change of pace for first-person shooting. Definitely, if it's good, then I definitely think that I think it looks cool. But I'll go more in depth with that later. you know, they announced some characters for Smash Brothers, and you know, overall, I thought it was fine. I mean, it basically was an E3 conference without being on stage, and that's something that you know, that's what Nintendo wants to do. That's fine. Now they did have, I believe they had a Treehouse event afterwards. I didn't watch it because you know, frankly, I just, you know, I was kind of over the conference. Like, it wasn't a bad conference, but I'm not. If you're gonna tell me that the digital event is over, I'm not gonna sit there and keep watching and, you know, and just, you know, just expect, you know, just see more and more Nintendo stuff. Like, I'm not a Nintendo fan to begin with, so like, I mean, I was just kind of over it at that point. I know they announced a bunch of other stuff. I know they announced Pac-Man as a character in Smash, which is awesome, and that and I'm gonna go on a little rant now. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not here to hate on Nintendo or nothing like that. But I do have to say this. First things first. For all the Nintendo fans who sit there and say Nintendo's not kiddie, you do realize now you guys now have like more than ever. More than ever, it makes it very hard for the average gamer to sit there and say that Nintendo's kiddie, and you guys can completely argue that point. There's no way in hell you guys can argue. It's hard to argue. Now, do I think Nintendo's kiddie? No, I don't. But when you offer Skylander knockoffs, when you offer, you know, a first person shooter, which, you know, a very childish looking first person shooter, like, regardless of what you guys may think about the game, and listen, I think the game looks like a very cool idea. You know, it's a very refreshing game, but again, if you want your friend, if you want, you know, your kids to play a first person shooter, I think that's the one that you probably would want them to play. Right? You know what I mean? Like, and you know, you have all this stuff that you have to offer, and I mean, it makes it hard for people to be like, oh well, this game is, you know, Nintendo's not a kiddie console. Like, I mean, when you're buying fucking toys to play Smash Brothers, yeah, it makes it very hard to you know, to be like, oh well, the console's kid not kiddie or whatever. It's very hard to do it when you're buying toys to play Smash Brothers. And hopefully with these fucking amiibos, hopefully they don't do what you know, which, I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's something that they would do as a replacement for DLC, and people and the Nintendo fan would be okay with it, where instead of offering, you know, new characters via, you know, downloadable, if you buy the toy, if you go to Target or whatever and buy the toy, you get to play as that character. I think that's something that I think a lot of Nintendo fans should be worried. Like, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, is that whether you buy it as DLC or you buy a toy, I mean, it's the same thing. So whatever, it is what it is. Another thing is, another thing that annoyed me about the digital event, you know, the Treehouse event. Yeah, I get it. It's part of the digital event. I get it, but I think for the digital event, for the initial digital event, they should have had the Star Fox. I think they announced the Star Fox shooter. Why you could save that for the first half of the show. Save that for the digital event. Maybe you should have saved up. You should have saved the announcement of Pac-Man for the digital event, and then move the announcement of some chick. I think I forgot her name, and frankly, I don't care. The chick from Kid Icarus. You could save that for the Treehouse show. You could save that for the after show. You know what I'm saying? Like, game. I think they showed a trailer for what's that game called? Xenoblade Chronicles X or whatever. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen that during the you know, during the digital event. It would have been nice to have seen that. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, again, I didn't think it was a bad conference. I actually thought it was okay. I mean, nothing groundbreaking. And frankly, the whole E3 was just, I thought E3 overall was a good show. It's just nothing happened that was like relatively groundbreaking. and you know that disappoints some people. I know some people are very underwhelmed with this E3. Um, I just thought of it. It was just okay. Everything was just okay. And if you based on who do I think won, I think it's based off of who you like. I mean, if you're a Nintendo fan, you're gonna think Nintendo won. If you're a Microsoft fan, you're gonna think Microsoft won. And the same thing with the Sony fan. Like, I mean, me personally, like the stuff that impressed me the most was from the Sony press conference. But you know, games like No Man's Sky, Batman, those games are multiplat. So you know, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh well, the Sony show was awesome because you know they showed No Man's Sky. I'm sure No Man's Sky is probably gonna be on. I'm sure it's already on PC. You know, it's on PC and it's going to be on the Xbox One. You know, I mean, same thing for Batman. But you know, like the exclusives that they showed was interesting, so I was okay with that. But you know, overall, the show was okay. Um, you know, the show is fine. So that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, thank you guys for watching. I'll do my best to try to do as many videos as I can. It's tough, and you know, again, big shout out to the Dave Had Enough podcast, the Old Dirty podcast. You know, I you know, hopefully I'll be on one of those podcasts. So anyway, this is Huuvi 186 signing out. Peace.